I just want to start this video off by saying that this isn't going to be a recap of the trailer. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you've maybe already watched the gameplay reveal trailer, and potentially even looked into the Prismatic deep dive post Bungie did a few weeks ago. But I'm going to guess that you generally understand Prismatic and most of the things going on with it. What this video is though, is just me having fine-combed over the trailer and picked out things that I don't think people would have caught on the first watch to do with Prismatic abilities only. This will be like the first Prismatic breakdown on exotic class items that I did, where it's going to be for the most part off script, but I'll slightly more edit this one, so it's clearer when I'm talking about what. I've literally just got a Google Doc with some timestamps, a few notes, the gameplay reveal, and the Prismatic deep dive. If you're wanting to see something specific though, here's what I think I found. You can go into the description and look for a timestamp and go to what you want to see. But we're going to be looking at Facet of Command, Facet of Bravery, what I think might be Ember of Solace, Facet of Dawn, Spark of Resistance, which looks like Facet of Protection, what might be Ember of Reolve, what I'm fairly confident is Echo of Domineering, Drengers Lash interaction on Titan, the brand new Stasis keyword Frost Armor, the brand new Unbreakable Titan aspects, and then one weird one which I'm not 100% sure on, but we might be seeing some kind of like Stasis auto-loading fragment. I've saved that one till the end because I'm not too sure. You can skip to that and have a look, but that's at the end of this video. But I'm sure there are going to be things in this trailer that I missed. And if you think you saw something, or even think I got something wrong, please comment it. And if it's actually valid, I'll pin it and make sure that it tries to get seen by as many people as possible. I won't waste your time though. Let's get straight into it. Facet of Command is the first fragment that I want to go over, and it's something that we see loads throughout the trailer, and it looks like it's proccing on freezing an enemy, or on suppressing or weakening. Freeze I can definitely confirm because we see it going off multiple times in the trailer. We see it here when someone's using Agha's Scepter.
Damage bonus that stacks on top of other weapon damage bonuses.
Right there. On freeze, you see that they get Facet of Command. And then we also see this at 5:30, where this Warlock is just throwing a cold snap.
I'm just about using multipliers.
And you'll see the freeze going off there, and then Facet of Command. And you'll see this one loads throughout the gameplay reveal. This is literally just me having picked out like a couple of examples. But then we also see this on suppressing or weakening. The reason why I say suppress or weaken, there you go, you can see Facet of Command there, is because he's using Tractor Cannon, which applies both, and I couldn't find a clip better than this one, showing it going off. So it's going to be on one of those void keywords, but I can't be too sure. I'll let this clip run out because we see it happening again. Right here, yeah, there you go. So he shoots Tractor, and then 12 seconds of Facet of Command. One thing that's really interesting about this though, is that the icon looks like a small bullet casing, which is what weapon boosts look like. Just to literally have like pulled another example from the trailer. This Titan is behind a rally barricade, and you see the small kind of bullet casing there, which means that it's got some kind of like weapon boost. But to come back to this clip, and just go back a few seconds, it doesn't look like it's a weapon damage boost, because we see him hit for 4195 here, before any kind of Facet of Command has been added to his gun.
On top of other weapon damage bonus.
See it going off here, and then we see him hit for 4195 again. So whatever this is, it's not a weapon damage boost. It could maybe be affecting like reload speed or stability or something like that, but it doesn't look like a flat damage boost. The next fragment I want to look at is the first time we're seeing Facet of Bravery going off in the trailer, which on grenade kills give your void weapons volatile rounds, and on powered melee kills give your strand weapons unraveling rounds. We already knew that this was coming to the game because they released it in the Prismatic deep dive, but the main takeaway here is that on either a grenade kill or on a powered melee kill, we're seeing 12 seconds worth of this buff showing up. I've slowed this clip down quite a lot because you see unraveling rounds for a couple of frames. But you see powered melee kill. And then, there you go. Unraveling rounds there. Which is from Facet of Bravery. And then here, we see a hunter. I don't have to slow this one down, it's pretty clear. You see grenade kill there. 12 seconds worth of volatile rounds there. Which is Facet of Bravery to a T. The next fragment I want to go over is the Facet of Dawn, which on powered melee hits will make you radiant, and on powered melee final blows will make you and nearby allies radiant. We see two examples, or at least I've picked out two examples from the trailer. You see here, gets a hit, and then 8 seconds of radiant there. And then again we see this at 10:52, powered melee hit there. 8 seconds of radiant, and then kill, and then the timer is still at 8 seconds. Although, we do see two examples, and again there might be more in this trailer that I missed, I'm just picking out two. We see here, powered melee hit, but then only 5 seconds of radiant. And we see it again here. 5 seconds of radiant there. Which makes me think that we could potentially be seeing a fragment similar to something like Ember of Solace, where your Radiant and Restoration effects last longer. Whether they're going to make this so that it applies to all subclass buffs, so say like Devour or Woven Mail or anything like that last longer, I'm not too sure. But there is a difference here, and that makes me think that there is some kind of fragment interacting with them. And to be honest, we've seen fragments like this before. Like we've seen Echo of Persistence, I think, on Void, that makes your kind of buffs last longer. And we also see the flip side of this in Strand, where there is a fragment that makes your subclass debuffs last longer. So Bungie have shown in the past that they're fine kind of giving it like time extensions to these abilities through fragments. And one thing I also do want to point out, and you see it perfectly in this clip, the timer gets set to 5 seconds here, and you can see that he is going to kill 3 people here with 1 melee, but the timer doesn't extend past what it is originally set to. So this doesn't go up to 15 or 10 or anything like that. It's capped at the original time. So here 5 seconds, and we can assume in these clips, for example, in fact, yeah, you can even see here, he gets a powered melee hit and it's set to 8 seconds. And then it just refreshes the timer here. It doesn't extend it past. The next fragment I want to talk about here is the Facet of Protection, which, whilst surrounded, you're more resistant to incoming damage. I think, and I only say this because we see examples of it during the gameplay preview, I think this is going to be like a carbon copy of what we see in Arc of Spark of Resistance. Because we see, I think twice in the trailer, I've picked out 2 examples anyway, we see Spark of Resistance here, which makes me think that they've literally just gone into Arc, taken that fragment, and then just copied it over for Prismatic.
Where you can combine
that you see Spark of Resistance
from different
right there, and then you see another example here.
Class items are going to let you do things that
Spark of Resistance there as well. And then in the trailer as well, you see this Facet of Protection. And they both read the same, and it just makes me think that they're both going to have like the same stats, just because, you know, they kind of showed it off before with a different name, and now it's under Facet of Protection. Again, that's speculation, so I can't be obviously 100% sure on that, but I feel like it's a fairly safe assumption to say that they will at least be very similar, if not identical. One thing that I did manage to pick out from the trailer is what I think is the effect of Ember of Reolve, or on getting a grenade kill, you get Cure. Although I think that this fragment has been adjusted to suit Prismatic more, because we're seeing 2 different versions of it. We're seeing this one, where you see the hunter gets a grenade kill, and then you see Cure times 2 there. The base version of this fragment is only giving Cure times 1. There are 3 other instances where we see this. Okay, you see that the Warlock throws their Bleak Watcher. And then you see, yeah, something dies from like the Stasis, freeze, whatever you want to call it, from the Bleak Watcher. And we see a single tick of Cure applied. instead of ×2. So there's something going on here, maybe another fragment, maybe interaction with a subclass, maybe something to do with Transcendent. It's giving this more Cure. This one, I don't fully trust this clip. We do see Cure, and we do see a grenade thrown, but there's so much happening that Cure could be coming from somewhere else. I'm not entirely sure. But you see there? 1 stack of Cure. That could be Ember of Resolve or whatever they're going to name it in the final shape. But again, there's so much going on. I really can't be sure that that is exactly what this is. And then we see here, Warlock throws a Threadling grenade, Phoenix dives and gets Cure ×2. But then you see, there you go, one of them gets a kill there, and then Cure ×1. And this is really interesting because in the past, Threadling grenades have had weird interactions with like things that affect grenades, like mods and abilities. So seeing that it's actually being counted as a grenade here is really nice. It's helpful for build crafting. One other thing that I also wanted to mention, it's not to do with Ember of Resolve, but still something that is worth pointing out, is that here we see the Hunter. Hold on.
While you're transcendent,
Here we go. Here we see that Hunter goes Transcendent. They get their new grenade. They throw him. And they get ability kills, which then activates Gunpowder Gamble. But it doesn't override the kind of like Transcendent Prismatic grenade that you get, which is good and bad. Because obviously this grenade looks really, really powerful. It's like freeze and what looks like it might either scorch or ignite. But if you look at the cooldown on Transcendent, it takes a while, and ability kills refresh its timer. So that's a lot of time where you're pretty much locked out of Gunpowder Gamble. So again, it's good and bad. Yes, you lose Gunpowder Gamble, but you get like what looks like a ridiculously strong grenade. So, you know, there's good and bad to this. For this next one, we're looking at how Drengers Lash interacts with Titan's Thruster class item. When I first looked over this, I was trying to find like the most complicated way of explaining this. I thought maybe it was a brand new aspect, or something was happening with maybe like Bombardiers had been adjusted on the class item. I even mentioned them in the exotic class item video that I did. And massive shout out to the guy who pointed it out. I'll put him on the screen now. But he was just like, yeah, this is probably just Drengers Lash working with Thruster. And I was just there like, you idiot. Yeah, obviously that's what this is. Or at least like, I'm 99.9% sure that this is what this is. Because we see here, you see that he uses Thruster. And then this little like suspending ball here goes off. And I think this is how they're getting around making Drengers Lash work with this class ability. Because normally it would be like a forward line out that would suspend anything. And this is their workaround. It literally makes like one of the Wanderer, I think is the aspect on Warlock. One of those little tangle things from where you dodge. And it suspends. We see a similar thing here. Where you see user's class item, little grenade icon. And you see it just suspends everything around. Again, we see it here. Watch the class item. And then this will just suspend everything. There you go. And then we see it again here as well. Uses Thruster, and then. What I said before about it being the Bombardiers, I take back. This is 100%. Okay, maybe not 100%, like 99.9%. Got to be Drengers Lash working with Thruster. I think this was their workaround for them. Here, I want to go over what I think might be Prismatic's version of Echo of Domineering, as on suppressing an enemy, you'll refill your ready weapon from reserves, which we will see happen with Tractor Cannon, and it also grants the passive benefit of, on killing a suppressed enemy, spawns a Void Breach, which we'll also see. I've slowed down this clip quite a lot because they weapon swap really quickly, so it's hard to see. But if we just go through it there, you see that they shot that shot there, and then immediately a bullet is loaded straight back into reserves. And then they kill a suppressed enemy here. And we see a Void Breach there. That is Echo of Domineering, absolutely. That is its effect. What we don't know is whether this is going to have any other interaction with other subclasses. Like if you kill a frozen enemy, will you spawn a stasis crystal? If you kill like a blinded or a jolted enemy, will you get an ionic trace. There is literally one example of this happening that I could find in the trailer, and it was this. But I can say fairly confidently that we will be at least seeing some form of Echo of Domineering come to Prismatic as one of their fragments. And the second last thing I want to bring up is the Titan aspect, the brand new one that they're getting in the final shape, Unbreakable. And it looks like it's doing a couple of things here. For one, if I play it, past a certain point, you see that they get Void Overshield, and you can see that steadily increasing up there. But really interesting, this timer, from when it starts, doesn't start going down until the grenade is released. So they release it there, and now it starts ticking down. But one other thing as well, which I want to point out, is you see they get volatile rounds from this, which means that any kills or damage you do from Unbreakable is going to count as a grenade. So that's good for mods like Firepower, Ashes to Assets, Bolstering Detonation. If it interacts with your grenade, you can assume that it's going to interact with Unbreakable. Alright, and this last one, I really am not 100% sure at all on what this is. We might be looking at something like Echo of Domineering, like how before when you saw that the suppression effect went off, it then also loaded tractor cannon in their hands. With this, we're seeing something kind of similar but on a freeze. I'll play the clip for you. Keep a really close eye out on conditional finality here. See, they throw Gunpowder Gamble, they pull conditional out, they shoot it, they immediately put it back, and you can see that it has auto-loaded itself straight away. What this is, I don't know. Again, this could maybe be some version of Echo of Domineering, where it's like on suppressing or weakening, which we saw before. And maybe it also includes Stasis, where it's like on freezing, reload your readied weapon. But the thing is, he weapon swaps so quickly. It's literally like takes a shot and then puts it away. And you can see there, it's kind of like it just loaded. So maybe that fragment which I mentioned before, Echo of Domineering, includes this in it, but I really don't know. This is the one that I'm like least sure about what I've shown today. This is the one that I just don't get. That being said, that's everything that I found. If you found anything else, please comment it below. I'll pin it and I'll try and make sure that people see it. If it's actually like there and it's like provable, then yeah, absolutely. Please let me know. I want to try to make this as comprehensive as possible. That's about it from me.